Y'all, she's going down. Someone get the medic. She's tested positive for slaying. Hey y'all, it's Renegayde, and let's spill some Reali-Tea on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18. On this episode, if you thought the Marvels episode of Squid Game was intense, imagine what they would do if they had to pair off together and do a Who Wore It Best challenge featuring two iconic red carpet looks instead. Well, we got that here. But before we get into all of the fashion, fighting, and feigning, let me introduce my co-host, and hopefully he won't squabble this opportunity. It's QuackrrJack.
I just want to let everyone know that I am safe, I am not going down, and I am so glad that you were so worried about me, Renegayde, but I am in safe hands.
I'm so proud. I'm glad that we had the medics on staff. I'm glad I didn't even have to get out of my judging seat to make sure you're okay. Just had to call for some medics, and they showed up on time. Just so happy. But Jack, I'm kind of like feeling some sort of void, right? Because this is the 1 week that, at least for like the current, like for foreseeable future, that we only had one episode of Drag Race. So it felt a little weird, but at least you got your design challenge and a bunch of drama. So
Kind of.
was it at least like a good episode here for you? Are you enjoying this episode? Because I kind of enjoyed it, even though like
No.
I still think the judging is really off.
The judging is weird, and I think this challenge is one of those we judge people differently because I will tell you, if nothing else, some girls were like, you should have been doing this more like the design, and some girls were, we're so glad you didn't do the design that they just did.
Yeah, they did not feel like they kept up to their own judging when it came to this brief here, and we'll definitely kind of talk about that in a second because I think we need to get to this drama. Because this drama started this episode here between Briar Blush and Mia Starr, and I guess you could say featuring Athena Dion too, since she kind of jumps in the middle there.
Sure.
It kind of escalated out of nowhere, and I mean, I guess not, because I guess Mia is kind of clearly feeling some type of way. We heard her yelling through all the lip syncs, or like, the last two lip syncs here with Mandy being there, her clearly cheering her on from the background. Go, Mandy! She does not agree with this decision at all whatsoever. So she definitely feels some type of way against Briar when she comes into the workroom here, and she also makes it clear because we have a little bit of a flashback moment where I guess the Briar and Mia, they're getting ready here and they're having a flash or a talk about Briar's past relationships. And Mia asks Briar if she's at fault for the relationship ending, and Briar kind of like tenses up and shuts down because she's not ready to have the conversation. And that kind of confuses Mia because she just kind of basically like doesn't answer her at all whatsoever. So Mia says she apologizes, but Briar doesn't seem to accept it at all. And then Mia starts to feel again confused because, like, based on what we've seen about Briar, she doesn't really have very many boundaries at all when it comes to messing with people. And this obviously leads to confusion for Mia because she doesn't know where the boundary is and if those boundaries apply to like just herself or other people. So I do think it's a very important kind of thing to bring up here with it's like, yeah, Briar, I do kind of see that she's very willing to like cross other people's boundaries, but as soon as it seems like someone kind of gets close to her, she's not able to kind of take the joke too. Were you on Briar's side or were you on Team Mia and Athena?
So I don't like to take one side in this. I like to try to see it from everyone's, and I kind of see different points in each of their arguments. But if I had to choose a specific side, I was on Team Briar, and let's dissect this a little bit. So me and Briar were talking in the workroom before, all the crap happened last week, and they went out there and whatnot. And apparently, Mia had asked her about her boyfriend or something, and Briar was just ready for the conversation. She was like, "Yeah," and so Mia asked more about it, and Briar was like, So instead of just asking about it, Mia did a backhanded thing where she was like, "Oh, whose fault was it? I'm sure it was yours," or something like that. And she's like, "Tell me if I'm right." And it was something paraphrased along those lines, right? And so it was like "Oh," and Briar was like, "Bitch, you don't know me like that." So apparently, Briar, whatever happened, this, she's sensitive to this. Okay, fine. So like a boundary got lost, got whatever. Well, I think the problem is Mia then talks about how Briar does this with other people, but I was like, no, Mia, this is about a you and Briar situation. Let's not bring that up yet. So that's the first thing. I was like, I think it's fair to talk about how Briar doesn't necessarily do this, but let's not use. There's a problem with that argument of like trying to bring up a different situation when it's just one situation. But then I think it kind of like piled on because she brought up the Athena thing, and then Athena got in on it, and it kind of felt like it was like other people were like kind of ganging up a little bit on Briar, which I don't think was the intention per se here, but maybe is how it read to Briar. And so I think it was just very awkward in the moment because it just wasn't handled well. The situation was not handled well at all. I think Mia kind of crossed a boundary, and maybe that upset Briar. But I also think Mia didn't really take accountability as well, and it didn't feel like it was very genuine. For example, whenever Briar tried to talk, they kept cutting her off, and I was just like, the moment you do that, I'm like, that's one of my big triggers in life. I'm like, oh, you cut me off when I'm trying to speak. No, I'm done. I've had it officially. Like, if I'm having a conversation with someone that's like an actual argument or something, or like we have to talk about things to get our feelings out,
Well, what I think
like
here, Jack. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
annoying. Yeah. No, like that's fine. Like that it's not like you're purposely trying to upset me, you know? Like,
Or was I? Oh, I
well,
mean,
you
I
might have
see your,
been, but
I see it, but like, I don't know. I just feel like, I guess, when we've seen how much Briar has been like messing with Athena over the last few weeks, I know it's not like the same thing, right? Because clearly everybody's gonna have different boundaries based off their comfort levels with different people. So I do agree it's not good to necessarily judge your situation based off of the situations of other people, but Briar has
mhm.
clearly been like feeling some type of way and like going after Athena this whole time, and like I do feel for Athena because I do feel like
A
she
little
isn't the
bit.
one who, I mean she does have,
She did admit in the untucked beforehand that she said, if I make it through tonight and I don't have to lip sync or whatever, you can come for me and poke at me all you want tomorrow, Briar. And Briar, that was when it happened. I was like, well, technically you did say these things.
I
And
mean,
Briar did tweet that.
technically,
I thought that
but I
was
would
very
say like
funny.
prior to that, right? We'll say leading up before she gave her permission to, right? She was kind of like jumping in certain things and pushing her,
Hmm.
and she was pushing the bear a little bit, so
Yeah, she was
I
poking,
do get that. Oh yeah, it's poking the bear, not pushing the bear. Well,
pushing the
whatever.
bear. Good luck with that
We're
one,
gonna be
girl.
pushing that bear. But yeah, like I do see both sides of it, but I do think that I can agree with you that I do think Maya escalated the situation a lot more to the point where I think it became a lot more volatile. Like, because as soon as she was kind of like, what was Briar the one that was kind of like, oh yeah, well, hang on, I wasn't done talking. Maybe she didn't say it like properly, but like as soon as that happened to her and like she wasn't able to finish her point and Mia started talking, then
Yeah,
she got cut off. Like, I don't like that right away when someone tries to jump in before someone is done talking and then they get mad that the other person wants to finish their sentence. Like, I think that's kind of lame. Like,
exactly.
I don't like that, and I think that's probably what escalated for Mia's end. But like, I do kind of see it from Mia's perspective as well too. I'm gonna be like, I don't think there's really a right answer here. So
No, there's
I'm
not
gagged
because
that you
both
took
of
a
them are right
side
about
here,
different
Jack.
things.
I can't believe you'd do
Oh,
such a
okay.
thing. I would never do such a thing. So
I mean,
yeah.
I still think Briar was like the most in the right because like if you want to have a conversation about these things, you got to let a bitch talk. That's rule number one. And you know what? We're all guilty of it. I've done it myself. It's more of a in the moment instead of attacking back like Mia did. All she needed to do was be like, "Oh, you're right. Okay, continue." Like because clearly Briar was upset, and this is right after Briar had just had a lip sync for her life, and Mia's in her feelings because her friend went home. And I was like, "Girl, it don't matter who your friend is. Like." It feels like you're coming at Briar now at this moment, at the worst possible time, also, just to be causing drama and because your friend went home. So it's you
And
gotta there's context here, right?
yeah, I mean, I do see it that she's kind of taken out a lot of her energy on Briar, but I also think Briar makes herself kind of an easy target in a lot of ways because she
Briar
does
doesn't
kind
do
of.
herself favors
Yeah, it
necessarily.
doesn't. It just a lot of her actions I don't think necessarily read well, unfortunately. So, and on top of that too, I think there's also this added layer if we're gonna add Athena into it too, because I
The
guess
family,
Juicy and Briar are now becoming like BFFs, and
yeah,
there's that whole thing that they had off camera too, where Athena is going on and saying that like the funniest thing about this whole situation is that she doesn't even stick up for you, referring to Juicy sticking up for Athena. So I could kind of get why. I mean, there's probably some added animosity there because I mean, Athena and Briar are already kind of, or Briar's already like antagonizing Athena one type of way. Mia's her sister, so she's gonna be supportive of her. And then the whole Juicy situation's happening too. Like it is just like feels like the perfect storm to just go against Briar at that point.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of where it's like really unfair because it's like not only is it like no one's really in Briar's corner, but it was like y'all don't gotta gang up at once. And I know that there was like the off-camera thing, but the problem with someone like Briar, and I'm not trying to be mean, but Briar doesn't always pick up on social cues. She told us she was autistic, and so something that sometimes people do is like she may have meant that comment about Juicy in like a totally ha 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 we're such good friends way, and she might consider Athena like a really good Judy of hers at this point because they're on the show together, and other people might not take it that way. And so, those context clues can be like very difficult for certain people. And so I wonder if maybe that was one of the big issues that they were having is like their communication styles and not understanding each other. So
Oh, I
it
could see
got
that for sure.
messy and it was kind of sad.
Yeah,
And it definitely
it's one of
continued.
those things that you want to kind of, at least from my point of view, and I'm in situations like this, I try to always stay open minded to people, and like at least like if I'm questioning things, maybe like question where the jokes are coming from, or quite like if I find them off putting or whatnot, because I feel like that's a very easy way to help understand people. And I'm wondering if Athena allowed Briar that grace, because I don't think we ever saw her like it felt like right from the jump she was kind of already like not feeling Briar right. It felt like it was like even from like the moment Briar walked in and they all kind of had that
Yeah.
impression of her, it didn't feel like Athena was feeling her whatsoever. So I just wonder if Athena ever allowed Briar that grace to kind of understand where she's coming from. But um, guess it doesn't matter anymore based off the results of this episode. But which would
Yeah.
kind of be interesting because I don't think we ever really saw that. I think we just saw them feel like Briar just immediately going into antagonizing Athena. So yeah, I don't know, but I also don't think Athena's going to be that girl that's really going to like want to sit down and like try and understand where somebody's from.
No,
Whereas like
Athena's not that girl.
I'm like I do have like some psychology background, so I do want to know what makes people tick to some degree. But also high pressure situation, whatever. Um, you know, uh, I want to go ahead and just get to this challenge here right away, Jack, just because, again, I personally really like the idea of this red carpet mashup challenge, at least in theory, right? If we're not
Yeah,
including the
very
judging product,
theory.
just because it's fun already from the jump that they trick them into like thinking that they're working in partners, and then you're gonna squid game them and make them play against their partners and do who wore best. Um, that was a fun little twist that they put on them. So I'm sure at that point, I'm like, Juicy and Athena were probably happy that they weren't paired at that point.
Yeah.
um, but I also do like too that like if we're really going off of the briefs, like there are some really good looks here for them to base things off of. So like there was potential for some really, really, really cool things to kind of come out of this. Like I kind of wish they would have done this, like on like maybe like a season 7 All Stars or like maybe even 16 where we had like a real designing group of queens. But like like Britney's denim look, Gaga's meat, like there's so many iconic looks here, so I thought that was really cool. Do you think there was any sort of like specific inspirations that you would have wanted from this group that maybe we didn't see
Um,
mashed together?
well, the first thing I thought that was so funny about this, I think I need to bring this up, is how come they didn't use a Cardi B look when she was on the season? And I thought that was gaggy.
Who?
But
Not iconic
inspirations,
enough.
well, definitely not. But the yellow Rihanna was definitely something that I was like, ooh, like I want to see that. The Lil Nas X pink, great. Those were two things I definitely wanted to see as soon as they said it, and I knew they were already coming, obviously. But like those were some of my first two. I'm kind of over the J Lo dress of say all the time, and I'm really over the Lady Gaga meat dress because I'm like, she's had other looks. J Lo. So, anyways, Lady Gaga has other looks, and uh, like I'm sure J Lo's had other looks too or whatever. But when I think of like some of these great looks, I think of so many other things. But I can't always use Rihanna because it's like, oh, Rihanna had this like really beautiful red dress moment at the Met Gala one time, and I was like, oh, that would be so cool. But then I was like, why do we have Kim Kardashian here on florals while she's pregnant? I was like, a pregnant woman wearing a floral dress is not that crazy to me. I'm so sorry,
I
like
mean, it was back
whoever.
in 2013.
it's not crazy back in 2013 either. I'm just saying there were so many things here where I was like, this isn't this isn't gaggy. This isn't really what I wanted. I was cool with the Zendaya medal thing. I think that was really fun. I was thinking to myself if I had to pick. Oh, and also the share thing. Can we get over it? Not to be rude. Like you can pick any other share thing, but we've seen this one a lot. Um, but I think I was thinking of something that was going to be a little bit more fun and something that doesn't clash as much. Like I think we had a really good selection of materials at times, but then some of them clashed so poorly that I was like, the girls are screwed. Like the girls are screwed. They'll never be in the top of that.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think I think I would have really, since they were going such like monochrome kind of ideas, I would have loved if maybe they went one that was like a type of pattern, like someone got only stripes kind of thing, or someone was using specifically like the Bob the drag queen using what's that? I forgot what that's called.
The
The
houndstooth.
yes, the houndstooth. Like how great would that have been to be like, okay, you're using houndstooth, like you have to use houndstooth, and they just gave you like a couple different colors of houndstooth. Like they could have used it in brown, black, or like I don't know, silver or something. Could have just been really fun. But I think those were like what I was really looking for. And originally, Jane tells us the challenge is not to base it off of the looks, but just use the materials. And the materials were the inspiration or whatever for the look. And that did not seem to be the case later on for some of the judging. So I was confused.
See, I always kind of took it that they need to have some sort of inspiration to, the original garment to some degree. Like I wouldn't say necessarily it being an exact replica of it. I don't think that's what it was necessarily calling for. But I mean, a good mashup would be taking at least things that are reminiscent of these items and then changing it to a thing that's more your style. So that's why there was one look I think that kind of really stood out for me that was probably the best to do it. I don't know if that was the one that was rewarded. No, it wasn't. Um, but yeah, we can go ahead and just kind of get into everything here, Jack, because I know you are ready for this yes or no segment.
I'm always ready for this.
And let's just go ahead and we could start out, I guess, in the order that they popped up here. And starting first here were Briar Blush versus Juicy Love Dion. And they had Little Nas X's pink 2020 Grammys look and Rihanna's 2015 yellow Met Gala look, which Jackson was one of his favorites. I thought they were. Um, I actually was very kind of excited for this one because I thought they could have gone a number of different directions in this one.
I did too, because
Um,
these colors are so good together too.
I'm a little sad that we ended up getting Briar and Juicy with this one because sadly, I don't think either of them are the best at what they do. But I
No.
will say Juicy did give a really good attempt here. Between the
Juicy's
two, it's
teammates
clearly
gave her a
advanced.
really good attempt. I agree.
Well, she ended up wearing it, so I'm not going to
She
fault her
ended up
for
wearing a garment that other people
that.
definitely helped her make very severely, and it should have been talked about, but it wasn't. And that's okay. We will get into it. So, Juicy's outfit, because one of the things I found so interesting was Juicy lined the train of it, and I was like, no, I don't think Juicy would have lined this, if we're being quite honest, until someone told her to. The placement of some of the embellishment that was used from Rihanna definitely wouldn't have been a Juicy idea. The placement of the spikes on the shoulders were so smart. The shoulder padding was smart. I loved the collar of the like the hood kind of part. It was so beautiful. It was done well. I just think that Juicy represents the girl that didn't come prepared, but girls were just helping her specifically for her to win her matchup. So although I like the outfit, they talked about the fur at the groin area was weird. I also felt it was kind of weird that it just kind of stopped right there. I felt like it could have been a little bit longer, but it was beautiful. Yes, they needed more fur around the bottom part, but it was a great look. It was well constructed for the most part. I mean, especially for someone who doesn't sew, this was an amazing feat for her. And I was kind of surprised. At one point, I thought she was going to be in the top until they started pointing out the details. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. That fur in the middle is weird. And could have had more around the sides, but it was well done by Juicy.
I mean, either way, even if she didn't have the embellishments and whatnot, kind of, on there, I still think there's no way that she loses to Briar's because Briar's is
No,
pretty
there's no
rough here.
way.
This is easily one of the worst out here on the runway here, so I get why she was in the bottom too. Uh, it's not very flattering. It's doesn't feel inspired by either of the looks whatsoever. Like I really don't. Like maybe the pink part in the middle is kind of giving me a little bit of Nas's
What?
outfit slightly. Like the little pink straps is kind of giving me maybe what a little reminiscent of that sort of. I don't know. I don't know. I'm reaching
The
here.
this
It's
her
it's
cape thing was
rough. It's
basically
rough.
a long cape was kind of with now it wasn't long enough to be the train thing, but that felt very Rihanna-esque. Although it was around her upper arms and not her shoulders like Briar did it. She did also stud everything with all these goddamn little things, which were a nice touch, but it's kind of like she spent all of her time basically doing the cape and the harness thing that she forgot the rest of the outfit almost. Um, I really feel
Yeah.
like there was inspiration, especially with the shoe. Now, La Roche did clock Miss Michelle Visage, and rightfully so, because Rihanna did wear a silver shoe with this. Go back and watch the pictures, because I did. I know I looked it up afterwards. I was like, let me check, because I want to know for certain. And yeah, she did wear a silver shoe. So I think there is inspiration points in here. It's obvious this look isn't very great. And, a cat suit or tracksuit, whatever you want to call this thing, not great. It fit her mostly well, but it wasn't appealing to the eye. So easy win to Juicy, and Briar's definitely in our bottom three.
Very win. Very very easy win here for Juicy here. But
This
yeah.
is probably the most easy of them all.
I think there's one that's a lot
Oh,
easier than
really?
this
Okay.
one. Yeah, I think there's one that I looked at it immediately and I was like, yeah, this one's done. But we'll get to that soon. But first, let's get to our second matchup here, and that is Discord Adams versus Jane Don't as they mash up Cher's 1968 Oscars outfit with Sarah Paulson's Ocean 8 premiere. Um, I don't really think either of these kind of did it for me, honestly.
See, this is where it is.
Um,
They didn't fit the brief of the same thing that they said the first group. Where was the inspiration of the other outfits? Which, again, I don't care about because personally, I would prefer you do your own outfit out of the materials of the outfits, and I think that's enough. But this is unlike both of them. You could maybe make the case for the share outfit on Jane's look only because technically she has a little bit of like a wraparound cape robe thing going on, and she kind of has that on there. But that is the closest thing we're gonna get to a inspired part of this, I guess, other than the what you would say. I don't know. I don't want to call it the. It's not a harness, but it's like the material that Discord used to make her outfit, because I'm not sure how to call it. Do you know what you would call that outfit?
I would call it interesting, is what I
I
would call
don't know
it.
what what an
I
outfit. It's almost like a bathing suit, but not. It's almost like just something so. I get the inspiration at least from it.
I want to
So
say I get the inspiration from it. Like I get like the idea of like kind of using some cutouts, not a whole lot of fabric to make your dress, right? I'm just
mhm.
okay, I'm just gonna say it. The way that her posture in this outfit, I can't pay attention to anything else other than her hunchback. And the way her neck is like the whole time I'm just looking at her, I'm like, she's looking like she needs a chiropractor. Can someone please like help this girl with her scoliosis or something? Like it's funny, but it's also so distracting. And like that
I
alone, I
don't.
would have stuck her in the bottom four. But yeah, I don't know.
I
There's not much of an outfit here, I guess to say, right?
I
Versus at
mean,
least Jane, I feel like it looks well constructed, whatever she tried to do, and it just. I don't know. Discord just feels like it kind of works for her because this feels like one of those things that I would expect you to be like, well, she's not wearing a whole lot of clothes because she's thin and can pull it off, kind of
That
thing.
is what it is.
And
Here's
I don't know.
uh, here's
I
my
don't
thing
like
with
this.
this. I like that she used the detailing of like the greenish, yellowish neon things, but it's like Juicy's. The fur is not enough and it makes it cheaper, right? And what I really think got to me was I feel like if you just pulled the collar part up like 3 to 5 inches roughly, so lifts up the chest, lifts up everything a couple inches, it would fit her body better. So like maybe if we got rid of a little bit of that fabric there specifically. I understand the shoulder padding. I get what she was going for with the cutouts. It's just this doesn't fit her. There's so many things wrong with it. Do you remember how on her white albino crocodile thing that we were like, the it was just like pieces of scraps thrown down kind of thing. That's kind of what it's giving here. It's like randomly we made different little areas and then put the fur around it. I was kind of like, I don't see a reason for why we put these exact moments in there. And so I guess that's my issue with this outfit, especially is it looks like it's drooping on her and it looks cheap at the bottom. So it's an
Well,
easy
it's
win,
dripping on her
obviously.
too, just based off the way she's standing there
Right.
too. Like
My
it's
will,
so
my one
unflattering.
thing that I do have to say though about Jane, and girls are gonna be mad about it, but be mad. Um, I'm tired of Jane just going old lady, and it's a very reoccurring thing we see of a lot of girls who come from the Seattle area of drag. If they're not like traditionally pretty, very pretty girls, they always do old lady kind of inspired things or old vintage inspired things, and I think that's fine. But now Jane has given us Old Lady 4 times, and I'm like waiting for it to change. Will it change? Will I ever get any dimension
Uh,
from it? I mean, come on. She played an old lady in the RDR last week. She decided to play an old lady right now. She decided to do an old lady the week before that. Like, I'm like, are we gonna get anything other than old lady from you at this point? Like, and I'm not trying to be mean. She's doing great in the competition, but there's a lack of versatility. I'm not seeing much outside of this old vintage idea that she always has.
I would
I'm not
almost
seeing
argue
much of
last
that.
week she seemed like the bird look did seem a little more like modern than I would say old
Oh
lady. You may not have
no,
liked it,
definitely
but it
not.
was
It
at least
was
to me
so
it was
old
giving
lady.
me more. It was
Look at
I didn't feel
that.
it.
Look at that nasty
I could
cat
see
on
what
the
you see on
front.
some of the other ones. I don't know if I
It was old
agree
lady as fuck.
particularly with that, but yeah, I mean
I just
it's fair. It's
I just
fair.
I'm waiting for something different, and I also am like again, this wasn't very inspired by the challenge, but that didn't matter for certain queens, so that's why I did not like this challenge. So I was like, this is a perfect idea for a design challenge, and then you fucked it up with the judging.
Well, truth be told,
But
like
she clearly
Discord and
wins.
yeah, I'd say Discord and Jane, they both did like fine. I guess I
Jane did
wouldn't say
much better
either
than
did.
Discord,
Yeah,
but
I
the bottom part of her
absolutely.
outfit is weird.
But I don't think based off these outfits, I'd probably put Discord maybe bottom three. I don't think I could
I
put her
would
bottom
consider I
two.
would consider it.
Yeah. So I think the right person at least won here. Um, that takes us to our
Well,
third group here, and well, yeah, I mean, wasn't really much to go off of there, but you know,
yeah, there's not a lot to get.
but it happened there. But let's get to our third matchup here, and that was Mikey Meeks versus Nini Coco, and they
Do we have
had
to talk about
Jennifer
this one?
Lopez's 2000s Grammy Versace outfit that we all know about, as well as hmm, a 2011's Grammy outfit
Just say Nicki Minaj.
by Maga Minaj. Can we call her Maga Minaj? That's
You
my
can call
queen.
her Mega Minaj. That's fine. But like, how are you gonna say Jennifer Lopez and not and then say like Maggie Minaj? You're not gonna say Jennifer
I don't
Lopez.
know.
Like that's so fucked up.
Just because I don't care about Jennifer Lopez.
Well, neither do
Jennifer
her
Lopez
fans.
cares about Jennifer Lopez.
That's why she has so many fans.
That could be what it is. But yeah, I would say between these two, like I thought very clearly Nini did better than Mikey. I would
Oh,
say
it
that
was so
Mikey
clear.
could have done like
Mikey
there's
was a
elements
mess.
about Mikey's I do
Mm-mm.
want to like, but like she like had the same issue with Juicy where she just went like overboard on like the appliques. and whatnot. It's just like
The
it's
appliques are way too much. The dress was ugly. She was just holding a piece of fabric, trying to act like it was a boa or something that she was holding up there. She had a headpiece that I'm not even sure if she made the headpiece or she had it already and she just added it on. The blue material made zero sense with all of this. I mean, to be fair, I think out of everyone, now the girls didn't agree with this, but I think they had the hardest two to pair together because I was like, ew, like animal print and then the like florally leaves kind of print from
no,
Jayla's
I
outfit. I was
agree.
like,
This was the hardest one. I
if
think
it
for
were me
sure.
though, I would have
Especially because Mikey just
cut
wore
one
like
together.
the same leopard print last week or the animal print last week. Like literally, she was just a
Well,
cheetah.
and she looked terrible in it then, and she looks even worse in it now.
Oop.
Actually, I was like, were you going for bad outfit of the year? Like, what are we doing here? And to be fair to her, again, this is the hardest thing. It was mostly well constructed, and I think that needs to be taken into consideration as it was indeed constructed.
That's why I wouldn't put her bottom two. She definitely loses
I
here,
might.
but I feel like the
It's
construction
hard.
of it makes me feel like I would save her from the
Well, they
bottom.
didn't care about other girls' constructions. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they didn't, but I'm that's why I'm giving my personal opinion, not what the judges did. We know what the judges did. Judges crazy, but yeah, my personal opinion. I probably yeah she would have been safe here
She would have been bottom three for me.
and
It's so
fair
ugly.
and fair. But you also hate Mikey too, so.
I don't hate Mikey. I hate this look. I have nothing bad to say about Mikey per se. I just don't like this look. I think this look is ugly.
I'm waiting for your Susie to show up here, and I know it's gonna be
Yeah,
Mikey Me, so I'm
there's,
just waiting. I'm
it's
waiting.
not.
It's gonna happen. It's happening. It's
It's really
happening.
not. But
Just
I want to get to Nini because Nini has a look here that I think is really. People were like, "Oh, it's just a cat suit or whatever." I was like, "Okay, so there's gloves and it cuts off at the bottom very beautifully." I think her little headpiece is almost perfect. This is kind of like the best I think you really could have gotten with it. Not only did Nini kind of get the worst of the fabrics, but she made it work better than Mikey's, which I think was crazy. And I believe, based on what she is wearing, I'm pretty sure Mikey made the headpiece because it looks similar to the stuff that she used for her little styling and applique kind of things. And I think that's a really smart idea to put the bracelets on one side, holding the fabric there. I think it's really smart to put it right there on the top of the head as a side, and one on the opposite side of her hip, kind of thing. And the way she threw this fabric around, yes, it is mostly feels like fabric placed around it, but you can tell or you can tell that Nini actually sewed this and like made it work well for her body. And yes, it's not going to be the best thing ever, but as far as the other things that she was given, I was like, girl, you're better than me because I don't know. I might have still been in that workroom trying to figure out what the hell to do.
I don't know. I like the fact that she took elements of both of the outfit, didn't particularly just like recreate the outfits. I mean,
Hmm.
you could kind of argue to some degree that yeah, the cat suit is kind of very similar to what Nikki did, but I do like the fact that like she was able to incorporate the flowy elements of
Yeah,
J-Lo's outfit with the way that she was able
it
to like
was
put it
successful.
on the draping or whatnot or how she did it. But like it's very clearly also like tied in there with how she, put it around the side with that little applique thing where it all ties into, kind of meets up to a point. So,
Yeah, and it's smart. It's smart the way it's wrapped around. It's not just wrapped around here, wrapped around there. There are little angles. It creates this like almost like a rays of shine coming out from the applique. It makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of thought in here. One leg is way more covered than the other. The other leg has the wrappings on it at the top. So like there's a lot of thought in the balance of where we put things on this outfit. And I think she scores so high for me for that. Like she was dealt the worst hand and made the best out of it. And Nini gets a big like congratulations from me this week because girl, if some of those other girls went back there, they would have came out with something worse than what Kenya was wearing week one.
I agree with her being in the top for sure. Um, so I'm very. Nini is one of the few queens so far this season that has really shown up every single week. So she's really, really impressing me so far. So I do think Nini is probably going to be a girl we need to really watch out for here. Um, let's go to our fourth matchup here, and that is Sierra Mist versus Kenya Pleaser, and they
Oh,
had two of my favorite like ideas going into this whole thing. I'm not sure if they matched up necessarily together completely the way I wanted them to, but we do have again Lady Gaga's meat dress from the 2010 VMAs and Britney's. I'm not going to mention the other person involved here. Her denim dress from the 2001 AMAs, which I remember like it was yesterday. I don't really remember like it was yesterday, but I this look has always like been one of my favorite Britney looks. Uh, as far as these go here, Jack, you go first because I'm interested to see your takes on these looks.
oh, thanks. So I thought it was really interesting how they felt that someone specifically didn't do anything that was similar to the looks when I felt like Kenya did an amazing job at it looks like Britney's look to some extent, right? It's got the same kind of silhouette idea for it. And then it incorporates the Lady Gaga like materials. Also, why does she need to use the meat dress like material specifically? Because that's kind of what it made it they sound like. Because they just put her in the bottom because they wanted to. Let's keep it 100%. That's all they wanted to do was put her in the bottom because they wanted to put her in the bottom. And if we're looking off of what she did well with the meat dress idea, the meat dress literally has fringe on it. The meat dress is like, first of all, ugly as hell and should be talked about that way. But it has the fringe, it has like the hanging stuff. So I think she did a really good job of incorporating the the styles of the fringe from the meat dress as well as the silhouette of uh, Britney Spears' denim dress. Like this was a really good idea for her. It was well constructed for someone who knows how to sew but isn't like a seamstress per se or isn't like a designer. I think she color coded it very well. I love the use of the latex versus the denim, like really combining these two different fabrics that you wouldn't see very often. And I all around loved this look that Kenya gave us. I love that she gave us that kind of windswept idea of her hair can blow everywhere, and she's got the like little ascot scarf kind of thing around her neck. I think it was really beautiful. I think it was really fun, and I think she looked gorgeous here. And I think it was a huge step up. The only thing I was really like, ugh, was the fact that she used these black shoes. I wish she'd gone with a different shoe, maybe a different hair. And I also didn't like. I wasn't a fan of her keeping the glasses on too long. But other than that, I wasn't mad. Maybe take off one of the bracelets from her wrist because there was a lot with the metal going in there, but it did add to the effect of what she was going for. Now, next to her, Sierra Miss, on the other hand, has the meat look and she has the fringe going on with the denim essentially being the meat dress and then a weird head face piece that we've seen Gaga wear or something very similar to it. So it's kind of like she almost just redid another Gaga look, but made it with these materials. And I was kind of like, um, it was okay. It was fun. Neither of them would have been in the bottom for me, not even by a mile. I think they were both top half of the groups, if I have to be honest. I think I would have actually given it to Kenya personally. I just liked her dress more. And I think when I looked at the shoes that she wore for Sierra's, I was kind of like, oh, I hate these shoes. I understand that we're doing like the whole keeping it together with the little string and stuff like Lady Gaga did. I understand the reference. I get it. I've seen it. I know it. I don't think she was as successful, in my opinion. And that's my opinion.
So I think Sarah Miss should have won this challenge.
Oh,
She's the only
okay.
person for me that did the entirety of the brief, where she gave me an outfit where I see both of the looks. I think it's very well constructed. I personally really like this. I don't care that it's like you're saying that she recreated another one of Lady Gaga's silhouettes. Well, that's kind of I think that's actually pretty smart then. To if the idea is to create something reminiscent, but not necessarily the exact same thing as that outfit, but then you go to something else in that catalog as well too that's similar but not the same. Like I think that's very smart. I think she pulled this off extremely well, and I personally really like this look. And as far as Kenya goes, initially I do see, I do feel probably other than Briar, she's giving me one of the biggest disconnects with like the base outfits together. Because I know you kind of explained your point of view on it. I don't know if I see it that way, and I do kind of wish that instead of like this red, I guess latexy material that she's using, that she did go with something that did kind of look a little more meat-esque. So I do understand that critique. Would I have stuck her in the bottom for it? No, because I do like what she's presenting here more so than a couple other people here. I probably would have. I could see her be bottom three. I'm like, I feel like she's only bottom two, so that she can send Briar home.
Just send
And they
Briar
already kind
home.
of stuck her in the bottom to begin with, like in the first episode on the design challenge. So like, it just kind of feels like narratively for them, it's probably what makes sense. I don't. It doesn't make sense to me at all, but you know.
Yeah. I also don't understand the judging aspect of this episode because again, literally during the beginning of them starting to make the outfits, Jane don't literally it has a confessional. It's like, so the brief isn't to recreate the outfits; it's to make them based on the outfits using those materials, but not be exact replicas, just be inspired by. And I see the inspiration. So I was just like, I don't get what the judges are on. I feel like the judges are on crack, and I feel like they just are using whatever they want because it feels this challenge felt like a makeover challenge. They were just like, I'll say what I want when I want, bitch. And I was like, okay,
Yeah, I just
no
wonder if they were all
consistency.
entirely on the same page because it's pretty notorious. Sometimes they get told one thing and the judges are
Mm-mm.
told something else. So that wouldn't shock me here. Um, let's move on to our fifth group because for some reason I don't know why I thought there was just five groups and there's six. So um, let's move on to our fifth group here, and that is I think probably the most successful duo of the night here. Maybe you disagree, I don't know, Jack, but we have Mia Starr and Vita Von T Starr, and they are doing a mashup between Katy Perry's 2019 Met Gala look with the chandelier and Little Kim's 1999 VMAs with that Today out, which I think again was probably another one of the more iconic looks, at least for me, that I was kind of very excited to see going with. And I love that they kind of went in two different directions here. Like we have Mia who kind of literally went the more little Kim route, I feel like, and then you have Vita who kind of played, I think, a little bit more into her style. While I do think she did keep the essence of, I would say, both of the looks here, where this feels like maybe like it's little Kim's mom that she decided to invite to the Met Gala
Little
along with
Kim's.
her, right?
Okay,
This
okay,
is big. This is
that
Big
was
Kim.
crazy.
This is Big
This is
Kim.
Big Kim. That was Big Kim.
But I thought they
Um,
both did really well, and I do get why Vita ultimately won between the two. But
Get why
there's
Vita
there,
won, girl. It wasn't a
yeah,
competition. Mia
there
did
was
terrible in comparison.
but I like there's aspects about Mia's that I do kind of think are fun to the point where like
I
it's clear that
agree.
I
There
don't
are
think she
fun
would put her in the
aspects.
bottom, and just like I she sold it for me. So like there's no competition here at all whatsoever, but I would say that I do think Mia put up a she tried she tried, and I
Look,
think she
here's
was
the
fine.
thing.
She was just a piece
Mia's
Vita.
Mia's outfit was a ill-fitting, like at the collar, and we just threw the purple on there randomly. I was like, this is just trying to be Lil Kim's dress in material provided for Katy Perry's look, which I'm totally here for, actually. But the purple on the front, that's a goddamn mess. Okay, we can say what we want, but the
Fair,
purple on the front
fair.
is a mess. It looks like someone put some smoke and just said, stick it on her. And I was like, if this was supposed to be smoke out of a genie's bottle or out of a cigarette or whatever, you have captured the illustrious idea of it goes anywhere it pleases, it has no pattern, and it looks terrible without you seeing it in a still light. Like, ugh, it was really rough. I loved all of the little appliques. I love all the dangling pieces from the chandelier and stuff. I thought that was really smart. I thought she looked beautiful. I thought Mia's hair selection was great. I loved her chunky bracelets. I felt like there was so much good here. I just didn't get. I just didn't get like I just got pretty much a recreation of Lil Kim's outfit, and I was here for that for the most part. Except instead of having, it was a gown instead of having legs, you know, and that's great. That's great. Now, Vita, on the other hand, it's sickening that you even said anyone else should have won this challenge other than Vita. Vita was the belle of the ball, mama. Vita put stones everywhere. She was beauty encapsulated. She took this idea and she said, "Let me show skin, but not as much as like a whole tete out. I'm gonna have shoulder pads. We're gonna have these draped trains, and then we're gonna have one even in the front of my beautiful gown dress. Like the placement of the fabric was so perfect. The gloves, the chandelier, and the usage of it for the neck piece. Usually, I don't like a neck piece. You know this. This was beautiful because if you're already going to have it all cut up, using this part of the body showing out of just between the upper arm and the middle of the chest is just so beautiful. I think it was so amazing. I could not say enough things. I was like, oh, this is the winner of the challenge, maybe. And if you don't give this to her, I'm shutting off the show and I'm never watching again.
Oh no, trust me, I get why she won. I kind of really liked it. I was partial to that, but I also think a lot of it was because too I would just really enjoy again the base outfits and whatnot. So I'm not mad Vita won here, but I
You are a stan
do
of Britney Spears, and that must be addressed here for
I
your
am,
love of that. And
and
I
that
think
is
that
fine. That is
that is a
fine.
very big factor we must talk about here. But
Thousand Nights of Britney Spears. Let's do it. I'm ready for the runway. When
you
will it
are ready for
happen?
that.
It
I
needs to
think
happen. But
this
yeah,
chandelier
no,
idea
Vita's
though
a
is
fine
so well
winner.
done. A
It's really
fine
well
Vita was
done
the
for
only
sure.
winner, baby. She
It's okay.
used these pieces so well. Oh, okay, this is amazing.
Vita and Sierra can share the win. It's okay.
The only thing that I think Vita could have done differently if she wanted to do more was maybe line more of the material. If she had the time to do everything perfectly, I'm sure there's a few alterations she would make here or there, but this was some of the best artistry I'd ever seen from one of these challenges. Walk down this runway. This is one of my favorite looks I've seen in a very long time from a girl on a design challenge in the US specifically, and I was gagged and gooped. And it is because it's been a year since Ariadne's been on here, but I was gagged and gooped by this. I mean, after the first week, Vita was already like a huge threat when it came to designing looks, obviously. But this, mama, this was beauty. This was elegance. This was grace. This was everything you could say. I mean, this is basically like the belle of the ball, and she literally brought her own chandelier. I was gagged. Um, Amazing, truly iconic. Nothing more. There are no words to actually accurately describe how great this was.
Well, then let's move on to our final matchup here, Jack, because this is the matchup I've been waiting to get into kind of all night here.
This
And
is a
that is
questionable.
Athena Dion versus Darlene Mitchell with their 2013 Kim Kardashian Met Gala look and Zendaya's Dune 2 premiere look. And they gave the win to Athena. And I
Yeah,
honestly could have put Athena in the bottom.
I was about ready to beat Athena in the bottom at 1.2, and then I had to study more of her outfit, and I was like, okay, so she doesn't deserve to be in the bottom, but would I have put her in as the winner of her group? Definitely not. Not a chance in hell. Couldn't have been me, baby. Um, no.
I'm glad that they didn't give this to Darlene. I don't know if maybe I'm just like because I'll be honest, I haven't been the biggest fan of Darlene's fashion at all whatsoever. So I think that's why this look that she was able to make herself feels like it kind of resonates to me because she gives me both of the two looks. Like I don't see anything inspired by Zendaya's on Athena's whatsoever. I don't even see Kim Kardashian inspiration in Athena's whatsoever.
Well,
Like it's well
that's
made what she did, but
there's that whole we're different now.
I don't see any inspiration at all whatsoever from either of them. Like some of the other ones here, I could reach for, but I'd say like again, I think the two biggest disconnects. Well, other than Discord, I have a huge disconnect with. Briar, I'm having a huge disconnect with. Athena, I have a disconnect with. I think those would be my three that I would actually put in the bottom now that I'm like thinking
Briar
about it
discorded who?
through
Athena?
it. Athena, yeah. Like there's aspects about Athena's that I do enjoy. Like I do like the way she did the cape and that whatever
Uh,
piece that she made on there.
yeah, go
But
off.
like I think that the it's just so like if you're saying someone's giving old lady, like this is
Well, Mama, this is old lady, but it's less old lady than Jane gave. But it's still old lady. It's just this one is a bit, dare I say, craftier without getting canceled. So the first thing is, instead of the headpiece, she took Jane's headpiece idea and put it on her chest right there to cover up all the mistakes and made it out of the silver and the floral, right? The cape is a mess because it's a piece of cape, right? This is what it looks like based on if you really want to go in and dissect it too, what you'll see is at the bottom, this is where I'm seeing it from, the trim around it is like she took a almost rectangular piece of fabric or cone shaped fabric in a way. She said, "Let me have this as a tie around at the top with some of the extra material from it, and then we'll cover up how bad it looks with little things here or there." She only sewed over a little piece of fabric to have an edge, and then she put silver on top of that edge, and you can see it how there's different sides. It's not lined, and the cape was very easy to make clearly because it's just on her and tied onto her. This is a tube dress, which again, look at the way it's hemmed. It's not looking great, and the way it shows her whole corset underneath. I was like, oh Mary. God damn. I was like, was the corset showing underneath supposed to be the Zendaya reference of the corset piece that Zendaya was wearing? Is that the reference other than the shoes? Like I don't know. I was very confused. I wasn't really here for any of it. Um, I think her hair also ages her. I mean, this is her drag, but again, this is where we're switching up on what is the winning version or what the challenge was supposed to be. And I think this is because now they're starting to be like, okay, Athena has come to the competition. This is her rise into like what she's going to be. And I was like, that's great and all, but you're trying to sell this story that I am not buying. It looked like really bad, and I get this wasn't the easiest combo. Again, they said this was the hardest. I still think the leopard print and the JLo was the hardest, but I think that this like Darlene did a much better job. Also, she did use the metallic uh, uh, flower print though, which really helped. And although her shoulder things are kind of ugly because they're too big, I will give her that I really enjoyed the dress. Her shoe is a sin against God, so I understand why they were hitting her for that because it wasn't even a shoe of either of them wore. So I was like, this was just I didn't have a shoe for this, so I put on that nasty thing, and they should have clocked her for it. But it matched at least her dress. I'll give them that. And the neck piece was done well. The head piece was the little like off to the side applicator thing was like done well. I think that it was a simple dress, but it was placed on her body well. The little fringe was a little interesting on the arm cuffs because it brought us back to the grandmother's couch like she wanted to and use the material like that. But it wasn't my favorite look of the night, but it was better than Athena's. And then they were like, Athena, you're a winner.
yeah, that was crazy to me. But maybe they were also suffering from a medical emergency. Um, so
Apparently.
ultimately again, Vita Vonti Star is our winner this week. Congratulations, Vita. And
The correct winner.
our bottom two is Briar Blush and Kenya Pleaser. Probably one half of a correct bottom two. Kenya definitely not. And they lip sync to Lights Camera Action by Kylie Minogue. And not me, just totally glossing over the fact that Briar passed out before that too. And I was just gonna bring that up here now because it's very clearly between the two. I think Kenya won the lip sync easily. There was a moment though when I was laughing when Kenya was doing the back bend, and then Briar just kind of does it just like even further
10 times
down
better.
effortlessly, right?
Yeah.
Right.
At that point, I was like, oh, it's over. Kenya has lost his lip sync. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought Kenya lost the lip sync.
I don't know. I feel like they were gonna send Briar home regardless.
Yeah,
So
they were
All
going to
Kenya
send
had
Briar
to
home
do is just
regardless.
perform, and she would have been fine. I think Kenya did fine. I don't necessarily think this is like a Kenya song though. So
I wouldn't have called this a Briar song either, though.
eh,
But I wouldn't have.
yeah.
I just. I have to say about this lip sync because I had some feelings. Kenya got to be up there and got to do the funny, and I'm gonna say something. Let me say something. I'm as fat, if not fatter, than Kenya Pleaser. Okay? So get this correct that like this is not a hate to her, but the way she looked like she was trying to take it from the back during that and was just like huffing and hollering, like just jiggling around as much as she could. I loved that. Okay, but she was looking really trashy the whole time doing it as well, and I was like, "Ooh, this is hard for me to watch," because I felt like we were getting away from the song, and it was just like being messy and kind of using her assets the best she could, but it just did not come off very fun to me. I know they laughed at it, but it felt like they were laughing at her and not with her. To me, it felt like they were laughing at her for her size and doing this rather than with her. And look, I know everyone's going to be like, no, 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 that's not how it is. But guess what? It's my opinion. And as a fat person, I'm going to tell you it felt very much like a we're laughing at her for being fat and doing this. And that made me feel very uncomfortable during this lip sync. And I was like, I don't even know what to do here because I think Briar did a better lip sync once she outdid Kenya's backbend, especially. I was like, oh, it's over. And had this been any other girl, they would have sent her home. But they wanted Briar gone. You could tell they wanted Briar gone. I'm not sure exactly why, but maybe because they were worried Briar was going to outmug the girls like hey, she had been.
Maybe they were just really hoping that she wasn't going to pass the doctor's exam and she wasn't going to be healthy enough to, move on to the competition after that fainting accident because I'm still gagged at the fact that, like, nobody stood up at all on that panel to like go help her. And then like I don't know if it was the editing or what on the timing, but can we
Mm-mm.
please talk about how like she apparently this based off what we see here, right? It goes Ruse is getting the announce right, and the winner of Who Wore It Better is, and then Briar goes down, and then after she's already down on the ground, why does Michelle goes she's going down? I'm like, oh, she's already on the ground.
Now, okay, so that might have been a weird edit thing, but Michelle said in the What You Packin' that she felt like she was the only one that was seeing Briar, and she's like, "Wait, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Why weren't you saying that from the get?" I would have been like, I would have immediately jumped up and been like, "Juicy, help Briar!" Like immediately would have been said out of my mouth. But um, some of the girls felt like it was fake. Other girls were like, "No, Briar would have never done something fake like this. Like, trust and believe." I don't care if it was a stunt or not, because like, if you're up there and you're gonna make a stunt, do it, bitch. I'm here for it. And secondly, if it wasn't a stunt, it'd be understandable because she was going through an emotional roller coaster. Her shit was heavy as hell. You know how much those spike pieces actually start to weigh when you start putting hundreds on them like that? It's crazy.
I want to give
And
Mia
that
and
girl,
Vita the benefit of the doubt, but I'm gagged that they said that she was faking
no,
it literally
mm-mm.
on
And
the
I love both of
stage.
them.
I'm like,
I
that
love
is
both of them
rough,
down.
girl. I'm like, you don't like. I don't even think did they even see it happen? Because I feel like somebody asked like, oh,
No,
what happened? And
no.
someone was like, oh, Briar went down, and I was like, oh, I hope it happened for real. I was just like, wow, that is,
And
oof.
this is the tea that I want to talk about. It was very clear based on even if they were trying to hide it and they didn't, it was very clear to me that the girls were all trying to get Briar out this week. Every girl that could helped. Basically, they were like, "Let's help Juicy get Briar into the bottom," right? And then they were like, "Let's gang up on Briar." Briar was crying, and no one was helping her except for the girl that she's supposed to be fighting against, right? And girls saw her crying, and they're like, "No, I don't give a fuck." The moment that they decided to have that like moment between her and Mia wasn't until when they were getting the makeup ready because the producers told them to do that because they knew that they were going to get rid of Briar, right? And they were like, okay, let's get this moment from Briar before she goes home. Yep, get this. Okay, Mia, we're gonna need you to actually like be nice to Briar right here. And it was very clear it was a setup the whole time that the girls were trying to get Briar out no matter what. And I was like, it felt very like high key bullying almost happened here on this set, on that set that day. And I was like, I don't like it. It felt very nasty the whole episode. Like it really took a turn for me. I was like, it was like everyone wanted Briar gone, and then they were like, "But we'll care about her after she leaves the competition." And I was like, "That's not sisterly. That's fucked up." And I was like, "You know, I'm a person who's competitive, and I'll like do whatever I need to win, but treating someone like a human being costs nothing." That's all I'm saying. And was Briar treated like a human being? Mm-mm. No,
Yeah, it does feel like I do feel for her on the way out here because, like, clearly, I'm pretty sure she's been able to patch up what she can with the girls and whatnot since then, and like, obviously, she was some type of way towards some of them there, so it's just like it feels rough when somebody doesn't even maybe even have a clue that they're doing what they're doing sometimes
she
until like
didn't
it's too late to
sometimes.
stop it because it feels like by the time that like Mia and Athena kind of like had their altercation and she kind of realized, oh hey, something's up here. Like now she's on her way out the door. You know, she has no time to rectify it at all whatsoever, and
Oh no,
she's leaving
it
with a
was
bunch of
only
bad
for
blood.
producers.
So that feels really sad
It
for
was
her.
just
But
production. It was nasty.
I do feel like though, if there's any kind of queen that that could happen to, I do feel like Briar is one of those queens that she's going to embrace it. You know, she's. I don't feel like she's the type that
I feel like
She
she
doesn't seem
has
like it's
embraced
in
it
her head.
already.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like she's getting in her head about it. It feels like she's just happy to have
In the
been on the
moment, she might
show,
have been,
and
but
that
the way the
maybe
girls
is
didn't
why
even
she came in.
care
But yeah,
when the girls straight up were like, "I wish," when they said like, "Oh, I wish Mandy was here instead of you," I was like, I was like, okay, so like I get it, you're mad right now, that's the thing. Didn't want to apologize for it at all. And I was like, okay, so it's fair if you're gonna be real and you're like, I just don't like you. But then to give the fake like, oh, I do like you, I guess I get you now. I was like, no, you don't. No, you don't. And look, I'm here for it. I love the drama, but I was like, if we're being 100% real, we also know that you are not here for her like that. And it's messy and it's fun to watch, but you also kind of feel bad at the end of the day because it just feels like Briar all day long, crying her eyes out, can't get out of her head. No one wanted to help her with that. If you was a real sister to Briar, you would have gone over to Briar and been like, "Hey, what's wrong, girl?" And like, "Hey, what you're doing not working," because everyone else in the world had 14 hours to help Juicy make her outfit.
well, let's be real though. Even if Briar had made it past this episode, there's no way she would have survived next week because apparently it's the Rate a Queen talent show, and they're going to be
Oh,
splitting
they
up in
would have
like
put her
two
in the
groups.
bottom,
Yeah, she
no
would have
matter
been
what.
automatically in the
And
bottom.
I'm confused
So
by this too. Are you do you know if it's two different talent shows, one this week and one the next week,
I
or is
don't know,
it
but that's what I'm assuming because
I'm worried
that's
because
kind of
that's
the way they
shit.
set it up, and I
That is
don't
a
like that we're
shit
getting.
idea. Terrible.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that we're basically getting the premiere episode now, like halfway through the season. Like that
Six queens
feels
one
very
week,
weird.
five queens the next week. What am I supposed to be judging on? Like that's
And then is it
dumb.
going to be a double elimination, or are they going to just do like what they did? I'm assuming it's going to be like what they did last time, where the girl that they rank is going to be in the bottom, and then they're actually going to send somebody home this time. I'm assuming based off of
I would
who
assume it's
the
a
two
double
girls that they put on the
bottom.
bottom, right? So
But
the
if you're in
worst
the
on both
five group, you're
weeks.
fucked. Like
There's definitely a lot less places to hide there than you are in the other group. I wonder how they're going to decide, or if it's going to be one of those things where like maybe they do like a mini challenge. The winner gets to decide which group they go in, or they get
well,
to
that's why I
decide the
was
groups
hoping
maybe
like
even.
I was really praying it's going to be all in one episode. And we're going to get like the first half is the six girls and they pick a loser, and the second half is the five girls and they get to pick a loser. But I don't see that happening unless we're doing it like a Lollapalooza kind of thing where they're just like, all right, in the first 10 minutes we're already starting the challenge.
Well, we do have like
So
16 episodes to fill, so this doesn't surprise me that they're choosing this to be a
it's
some
ugly,
sort of
it's
double.
dumb, it's kind of the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. This is going to just tank the ratings for the season, which is fair because the season kind of is deserving to be tanked right now, honestly, with some of the stuff they're pulling. So
It's been pretty rough, unfortunately. Like
it was okay for a little while, and then they just kept making things messy.
I still want to. I'm still always wanting to be optimistic as usual, but like
I love
you
judging
know,
it. I love judging it. It's just it's messy and it's being
sometimes it's
done
just hard
poorly.
to watch when you're just like really do we have to watch you guys like storyboard this as we go like like it just
Girl, the storyboard's been written since day one, and I'm like, ooh, this is a mess.
well, I guess I could say it. I can't wait to see how this turns out. And
I can't.
hopefully y'all can't either, y'all, especially if you made it
I
this
can't wait to
far.
judge it.
Yeah, right. Well, thank y'all again so much for listening. And drop a like if you enjoyed yourself. Subscribe. Make sure you don't miss more because I think next week, what, like 2 days, tomorrow, maybe even as of this podcast coming out, we have UK versus the World 3 starting, which very excited for that hot mess.
Oh,
But let us know below in the comments your thoughts on this week. Who would have worn it better for you, and who was your ultimate winner? But until next time, on behalf of my co-caster, QuackrrJack, this is Renegayde signing out. Remember, keep spilling that tea, y'all. Bye.
bye.